What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the first episode of Always the Hook. It's a sports show, sports podcast. I'm Bane. I'm going to be the host of this. I might have some people on eventually down the road just to talk back and forth. But this is the very first episode of Always the Hook. So please make sure you guys subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. Get into the conversation, and I'll be sure to comment back to most of, if not all of the comments. Just to set the table for you guys, I'm going to try and not edit this the most I can. Because I want it to be more like a podcast. And I'm going to try and be working on talking. Sometimes I struggle with that. So just bear with me for the first couple episodes. I'm going to get better at it just by doing it. And we're going to go, it's just sports. So anything in sports, mainly football and college basketball are my two favorite. We got college football today. I'm going to be talking about Colorado and their chances to make the playoffs are next to zero now. And then I'm going to go through the whole NFL slate, give you my thoughts on the games, and then we might preview week 2. Alrighty, so Colorado and Dion, Coach Prime, their playoff chances are over. They have no shot to make the playoffs. They're just as bad as last year. They can't stop the run. They can't run the ball. Shedeur, he's a great passer. His arm talent is unreal. But he panics in the pocket, okay? He's not a leader. Seemingly, he's not a leader, and his teammates don't respect him, especially after all he's saying about his offensive line in the post-game press conference. If you didn't hear it, he said, how many times was Raiola hit, which was the Nebraska's quarterback. So he's basically saying, well, if I didn't get hit, we would have won. Like comparing it to Raiola and why Nebraska beat the fuck out of Colorado. But right after, it was like the second possession of the game, Shedeur threw a pick 6 from his own 2-yard line, and he was done for the rest of the game. Dion is not a good coach. He's not an FBS level coach. He looks lost out there. He doesn't know what he's doing, it seems like. He had 3 timeouts and let the clock run all the way down. I think it was before halftime. Didn't use any of his timeouts. Looked confused, looked lost. They don't have a head coach. Dion's a celebrity that likes to have bedazzled headsets, okay? He's not a coach. He's a coach, but probably not at the FBS level. He's good at getting eyes on the program, getting eyes on his sons and Travis Hunter. If that was what his plan was, then he succeeded. He got eyes on them. They're going to be his first, second round picks. Maybe not Shiloh. But he did his job. He got eyes on them. But next year, when they're all gone, this team is going to win 2 games. That was just my quick little thoughts on Colorado. Let's go into the NFL slate of week 1, go through all the games, and I'll give you my thoughts. So on Thursday, we had the Chiefs beat the Ravens 27-20. This was a really good game. It was fun to watch. My main takeaway was, why didn't they keep handing the ball off to Derrick Henry? The first drive, he had like 30 yards and a touchdown. And they had Lamar Jackson trying to prove to everybody, seemingly, that he's a pocket passer, like he can pass. He should not be throwing the ball more than Patrick Mahomes in any game. They learned this last year in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson ain't going to win you a game with his arm. He's just super talented. Let him run. Hand it off. Stop having Lamar pass 30 sometimes, 35 some odd times a game. He's not a passer. He's good. He can make some throws, but he's going to miss throws. We saw that at the end of the game. I just don't like the play calling by Todd Monken. They need to run the ball. Let Lamar Jackson pass out of play action. Isaiah Likely had a huge game. He was really impressive. Xavier Worthy scored 2 touchdowns. Rashee Rice looks great. So it was a really good game overall. But I do not get the play calling from the Ravens. Now down to Packers-Eagles. This was in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It was a slippery field, which allowed a bunch of wide open wide receivers. It was a good game. I guess Jordan Love got hurt, which sucked. There was a lot of turnovers, kind of sloppy. But Saquon Barkley scored 3 touchdowns. This guy might have been the reason the Eagles win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl. It might be Chiefs-Eagles in the Super Bowl again, and the Eagles might get it done. I don't have many takeaways from this game except Saquon Barkley. It's great to see him on a good team. I was tired of seeing him on the Giants. They were ruining his career. I love to see him on the Eagles. He's going to be playing playoff games. He's going to be playing meaningful games. I love to see it. And I feel bad for Jordan Love, and he's super lucky to only be out for 3 or 4 weeks or whatever it is. Next on the docket is Steelers-Falcons. Obviously, I'm a Steelers fan, so I watched this game completely. Kirk Cousins is clearly still hurt from his Achilles. He couldn't move. He was in the pistol literally the entire game, not under center once. So you couldn't turn around, hand the ball off, get out to the tackles or whatever on the off-tackle handoffs. So his mobility is clearly still bothering him. I wonder if Michael Penix is going to get a shot, if Kirk Cousins still plays bad, but they did just give him, 150 mil, whatever it was. The Steelers looked great. Najee Harris looks really good. He looks skinny and quick. They didn't score a touchdown. Chris Boswell's the MVP. But back to Najee, he looks quick. He looks like he lost a bunch of weight. I don't know if you guys remember, when Le'Veon Bell came out for the first 2 or 3 seasons, he was kind of fat, slow. He was good, but he wasn't Le'Veon Bell that we all remember. Then one offseason, he lost, 20, 30 pounds, and he was quick. And that's when Le'Veon Bell really took off. And seemingly, that's what Najee's trying to do. He lost a bunch of weight. He looks real quick. He had 20 carries for, 80 yards. So I'm super excited to see how Najee works out this season. Justin Fields did what he needed to do. He got some crucial first downs with his feet. He didn't force anything with his arm. He just did what he needed to do to win the Steelers the game. Sounds like he's going to play next week against the Broncos, so I'm excited to see that. But yeah, the Falcons' offense looked sluggish because Kurt looked still injured. Looked like he couldn't move. Bijan looked good, as always. Joey Porter Jr. locked up Drake London. But I'm not down on either of these teams. I'm pretty confident with both the Steelers and Falcons. I think he's going to figure it out. He threw 2 picks, but I think he's going to be all right. Now, the Cardinals-Bills, this is what I expected from Josh Allen this year. He's just going to take over the game. He ran for 2. He threw for 2. This is what I expect Josh Allen to be this year. He doesn't have Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. He doesn't have super explosive wide receivers or offensive talent with him. James Cook looked really good running the ball. So I think the Bills are going to be more of, hey, let James Cook cook. Let James Cook cook. And Josh Allen's just going to have to do it with his feet. This might be Josh Allen's MVP year, if I'm being honest. I see him. He ran for 2. He might get up to double-digit rushing touchdowns and throw for 30. That's in the conversation for MVP. Then on to the Cardinals. If I'm being honest, I didn't really watch this game. Marvin Harrison had 1 catch for 4 yards, I think. Kyler looked good early, which I'm happy about. He's finally playing again. But obviously the defense is still struggling. And that's all I got for that game. Titans-Bears. Bears came back from a 17-point deficit without scoring a single offensive touchdown. They scored a punt block, a pick 6, and I think a punt return or something like that. Anyways, the Titans blew a 17-point lead, gave the game away without allowing a touchdown. I don't know what to say. Will Levis played pretty good in the first half, and then shit the second half. He flipped the ball up, late in the fourth quarter, 7 minutes left. Flipped the ball up, and they picked it off. It was win the game. You punt the ball, and your defense holds them like they have every single possession this game, because they didn't allow it off a touchdown. You punt the ball, let your defense handle it. What is this flip for 1 yard going to do? It loses you the game. That's what it's going to do. It's so annoying because I had the Titans +4. It pisses me off. Will Levis, I don't know. I think he might be good. Mason Rudolph, I'd like to see him get a chance. But that cannot fucking happen. That cannot happen, what Will Levis did and the Titans did. Caleb Williams performed a little worse than I thought he would. He only threw for like 93 yards. But he's a rookie. The Titans' defense is sneakily very, very good. They got Awuzie from the Bengals. They got Snead from the Chiefs. They still got Jeffrey Simmons in the middle. They got the safety. They got a good safety. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But yeah, let's see here. Caleb Williams, 93 yards. Didn't run the ball very well. I mean, I don't know how the Titans lost this. Who's that safety? That Quandary Diggs is what I'm talking about. Amani Hooker, Harold Landry, Kenneth Murray from the Chargers, Jeff Simmons. This Titans defense is sneakily very, very good. But my mind's still blown. I don't know how the hell the Bears won this game. I don't know how the Titans blew this. It makes me mad. I'm just going to move on. And speaking of a team that I don't know how they lost, the Bengals lost everybody's survivor pick, apparently. Apparently, most people picked the Bengals, and they lost to the Patriots because Joe Burrow and that offense looked abysmal. Okay? My camera's lagging. We good? That Bengals offense looked abysmal. It looked like Joey Burrow's wrist was still bothering him. He kept rolling it out or whatever. But I don't know. Let's see the box score here. Joe Burrow sacked 3 times. Jacoby Brissett did what he needed to do. He ran 7 times for 32 yards. Ramondre Stevenson, obviously MVP, 120 with a touchdown. I wanted to see, the time of possession for this game. Yeah, 34 minutes for the Patriots, 25 to the Bengals. The Bengals couldn't stop the run. Goodness. This was just kind of like a beatdown, demoralizing if you're a Bengals fan. I don't have much to say because I didn't really watch this game either. I thought it would be a blowout. Next up, we got the Texans-Colts. Now, this was a fun game to keep an eye on. Everybody saw the Anthony Richardson deep touchdown pass to Alec Pierce. That was unbelievable. Anthony Richardson looks like he might be a guy. I wonder if he's heard people talking like, hey, this guy's kind of a pussy. Every time he gets hurt, he comes out of the game. Because he took some licks this game, and he got right back up. He ran for a touchdown, 56 yards. C.J. Stroud looked good. Sacked 4 times, which is pretty good for the Colts defense. I'm glad that they're getting some pass rush. But Joe Mixon, 30 carries, 160, 1 touchdown. Nico Collins, 117. This Colts defense still needs a little bit of help. I think they'll be okay. Because how talented this Texans team is. But this was a real fun game to watch. Down to the Jags-Dolphins. I watched the ending of this game. I looked at the box score early in the game, and it looked like the Jags were about to go up like 24-7. But they fumbled on going into the end zone, and then the Dolphins came back. This was obviously the Tyreek Hill game. He got arrested before the game or detained for speeding, and then the cops kind of flipped out, made it more than it was. But I'm high on the Jags this year. I don't really mind this loss, except they should have won. They kind of gave this game away, or the Dolphins came in and took it. It's kind of sad that the Jags didn't win, because I have their over on the season total, but it is what it is. The Panthers are fucking horrible. The worst team in the NFL by far. Bryce Young, first pass of the game, he threw a pick. Derek Carr looked pretty good, but it was against the Panthers, who are terrible. It sucks for Bryce Young because he's never really had a chance. I mean, he got drafted to the Panthers, and they suck. He hasn't had a coach. He's had 2 or 3 new coaches in 2 years. He has two different coaches in 2 years. I don't know. I don't know what to say about the Panthers. They looked horrible. The Saints looked good. Derek Carr was talking shit. The Panthers just need to trade J.C. Horn. I don't know. Kamara, it's good to see Kamara back. Yeah, the Saints looked good. But it was also against the Panthers, so I don't know how much stock you want to put in that. Next, we got the Vikings Giants. Danny Dimes continues to look like shit. Continues to make the Giants look like idiots for paying him however many $1 million before the season. Van Ginkel picked him off at the line of scrimmage. That's all I'm saying about the Giants. But the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell might be one of my favorite coaches. He's climbing up the ranks. He can do anything with any quarterback, seemingly. He might be a quarterback whisperer. He's making Sam Darnold look like, I don't know, prime Tom Brady or something. Look at this. 19 of 24, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw a pick, but that is what it is. Aaron Jones looked really good, 94 yards and a touchdown. But this Kevin O'Connell fella, he got Josh Dobbs 6-7 days before the game. He talked to him when he started Josh Dobbs, and he was able to talk to him for the first until 15 seconds, obviously. And he was like, "Hey, you got this on the left, this on the right, screen here, blah blah blah." And Josh Dobbs played really well for those 4 or 5 games before he got hurt. Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer, and this Vikings team is someone to look out for. I'm being serious. I'm not joking. Malik Neighbors looked alright for the Giants, which was fun to see. I wonder, just a little food for thought, I wonder if Sam Darnold spending that year with the 49ers, I wonder if that was like a good teaching experience for him. Maybe get his confidence back. Maybe get a good coach. Because he had Adam Gase, remember? With Le'Veon Bell and fucking Robbie Anderson in New York. I wonder if that year with the 49ers is going to be really good for his development. So that's just my thoughts on that. And I'm excited to see how the Vikings do throughout the year. The Chargers get the dub 22-10. J.K. Dobbins ran all over the Raiders, which I was very surprised with. Not because J.K. Dobbins isn't good. I do like him. But he is coming back from 2 injuries, his knee and then I believe his Achilles. And the Raiders got Christian Wilkins in the middle and Max Crosby. This defensive line is supposed to be really good. They don't have shitty linebackers either. So I don't know. Maybe this Chargers running attack is just that good. Justin Herbert looked all right. He did what he needed to do. You can tell that the Chargers players love playing for Harbaugh, which is, I guess, fun to see because I like to see the Chargers win. I like to see 2 good LA teams. But I am curious to see how the season goes with Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. Like, what the hell happened? Like, you got ran all over. It's very interesting. Now, the Seahawks-Broncos game. This did not start out good for the Seahawks. They gave up 2 first-half safeties. Geno Smith threw a pick on he got sacked on the first play of the game. He threw a pick on the second play of the game. And I was getting a little worried. I'm not going to lie. I was getting a little worried for the Seahawks. But this Seahawks defense is flying around. They're hitting people. They're fast. They got a really, really good secondary. Their defense line's getting better and healthier. This defense is really, really talented. And they're fun to watch. Like I said, they fly around and hit people. And later in the game, about the second half on, Ryan Grubbs, I believe his name, Ryan Grubbs, who was the offensive coordinator for Michael Penix, Rome Odunze, and Washington and all them guys. And it looked like he settled down in the second half, which I was really happy to see because I'm high on the Seahawks team this year. But like I said, this might be a team that is going to be powered by their defense. I'm pretty sure. Bo Nix threw 2 picks, but I mean it's his first game, and the Seahawks defense, like I said, they fly around. They're a really, really talented defense. Mike McDonald had a top 3 rated defense with the Ravens last year, and this defense is better names, better talent. I'm being serious. I'm not just gabbing up here. I'm not yapping up here. This defense has better talent than the Ravens team did last year. So I really believe this defense is going to be so good. They're flying around. Just watch them play. Watch them play. Now the Cowboys Browns. The Cowboys absolutely demolished the Browns. It was 33-10. They scored the late touchdown that didn't matter. Deshaun Watson looks like absolute shit. They paid him $260 guaranteed or whatever the hell it was, and they're making the Browns look like the poverty franchise they are. I don't have much to say about this except the Cowboys looked really good. Turpin, obviously you can see there, returned the punt. He's a stud. They got the kicker. He's a stud. Dak Prescott just got paid. CeeDee Lamb, top 3 in the league. Zeke's back, bringing the vibes. The Cowboys look good. Their defense looks good. The Browns look like shit. That's all I got. All right, so the Buccaneers bested the Commanders 37-20. Baker Mayfield looked great today in this game. Not today, but in this game, which I'm happy to see. I hated him on the Browns, obviously, because I'm a Steelers fan. But I love this. I've always liked his attitude. I've always liked Baker's moxie. He kind of got dealt a bad hand in Cleveland. They did not treat him right. So I'm very happy to see he threw for 4 tuds. One to his rookie from Washington, Jalen McMillan. Mike Evans got one. I'm really excited. I really like this Buccaneers team. I like Baker. I took his overpassing yards. My camera's lagging. Sorry about that. All right, but Jalen Daniels ran well. He looked good with his feet. All right, so my camera's not working, but you'll get the gist. We're almost done anyways. Jaden Daniels with his feet looked very, very good. But his passing, his average throw, like pass length and the air length was 2 yards. They did not push the ball down the field at all with this guy. A lot of his yards were after the catch, clearly. His feet looked good. But they need to start pushing the ball down the field. I like this coaching staff. I don't think the Commanders are going to be anything this year, but it is going to be fun to see how Jaden Daniels does this year. And I'm excited to watch. The Rams-Lions game. Was good down to the wire. Went into overtime, obviously. Early, I thought the Lions were going to pull away and the Rams weren't going to be able to come back because Puka got hurt and everything. But Cooper Kupp is still Cooper Kupp. He's back. He was hurt all last offseason. He's back. He's not hurt. He's healthy. He's a stud. Matt Stafford is a stud. Kyron Williams is a stud. This Rams defense looks like it needs some help after losing Aaron Donald, but also this Lions offensive line is the best in the league. So I don't know if that's really a big issue for the Rams. In overtime, they handed the ball off to David Montgomery, like 8 straight times, and he ran it down their throat. In overtime, it just appeared like they were just going to say, okay, we're done with this shit. We're going to go win the game. We're done. And they did. Matt Stafford looked good. Jared Goff looked good. Gibbs looked good. Obviously, Jameson Williams looked really good for the Lions. Coming back from his, down here, 5 receptions, 121 and a touchdown. Coming back from his suspension last year, he looked really good. Amon-Ra was shut down. The Rams did a really, really good job shutting Amon-Ra down and making other people beat him, and that's just kind of what happens. Jameson Williams beat him. David Montgomery beat him. That's just kind of what happens in the NFL when you took down Amon-Ra, which was great, but you let the other guys beat you. I like both these teams' offenses. I like the Lions to go deep in the playoffs. The Rams' offense is great. Their defense is struggling. But now on to the Jets 49ers. The story of this game was just turnovers. The Jets turned the ball over too much. Breece Hall fumbled on the second possession. Then there was a tipped pick from Aaron Rodgers. He looked good, though. He looked like Aaron Rodgers, and it's fun to see him throwing the ball around the field like how Aaron Rodgers does. He looks like he's good. Breece Hall looked all right. This Jets team is going to be good. The 49ers are just stacked. All right, Garrett Wilson did good. Alan Lazard looked good. Breece Hall dropped some passes, fumbled the ball, But I'm not worried about this Jets team. Maybe their defense a little, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Now, the 49ers, Jordan Mason is the best running back I had no idea about ever, I guess. 28 carries, 147, and a touchdown. CMC was rolled out about an hour before the game, which is kind of interesting because Jordan Mason, after the game, said he knew he was going to start since Friday. So the 49ers are going to get fined big here for not saying CMC's issues or whatever on the injury report earlier in the week. So they're going to get fined big. But Jordan Mason had a great game. Brandon Ayuk dropped a couple passes, which it is what it is. Brock Purdy looked all right. But this is just a classic. Two great teams. Monday night, 49ers won the turnover battle. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. There's my camera back on. Both teams are good. I like both teams. Aaron Rodgers looked great. Brock Purdy looked pretty good. Jordan Mason is why the 49ers won. They ran the ball. This offensive line for the 49ers is still top of the league. 49ers defense needed some help, but also this 49ers team is just so good. You know what I mean? So that's going to do it for the first episode of Always the Hook. Just reviewing the games from this week. I'm going to try and do another episode of my best bets and looking over week 2 coming out soon this week, hopefully. So make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment down below.